So today we're going to do venison curry. An ideal way to get rid of that leftover venison, basically. I'm using venison because it's cheap. That was only, for all that, it's just under £2. So if you know where to go, where to shop, then you can get it. So I'm having that with rice, and I'm going to create a curry paste out of all that. I've also got some cherry tomatoes that need using, and a bit of red wine as well. So a little bit of oil in the container. Now I'm also going to oil the actual meatballs themselves. There we go. There we go, they're doing really well. They're browning up nicely, and you can see I'm not burning anything. That's because I've got the flame nice and low. Now that they're kind of brown, I'm going to start adding some ingredients. Lovely cherry tomatoes that I'm going to stick in. Now, a little trick when you can't be bothered, or you don't want to spend ages cutting them all, just to squeeze them, get them all over the inside of the car. Once you've covered your car in tomatoes, a little tip is actually just to pierce the bottom and then squeeze them. That works much better, even with the wee ones. So I bought some the other day of the Kashmiri masala spice paste, so I'm going to use a little bit of that. One thing about living in the car is that I do tend to eat much the same food for about a week, get sick of it, and then move on to someone else. So I was cooking nothing but Italian last week, because I had pesto and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's Thai, it just depends what I want to cook really. So I'll blend all that together, not too much, probably about maybe a wee bit more. This does look like a lot for one meal, and this is actually going to be 2 meals, so don't worry, I'm not a pig. So you can see it now, it's all beginning to blend together. Tomatoes are getting softer, which is good. And it's cool enough at the sides for me to actually touch it and leave the spoon there. Now, the piece de resistance, as they say in France. Some security protected wine. You can only use security protected wine in this dish, otherwise your head explodes. So we add, I don't know how much that is, but it's about a glass full, something like that. Add that, and then we're going to use a little reduction trick that I know of. So my other little trick is to use a second aluminium container over the top, and what that does is that almost acts like an oven. You can't really touch it on the top, it's so hot, and the heat just circulates all the way through the dish, and that'll help it cook properly and cook all the way through, which is very important if you're cooking chicken or something like that. I would have actually been cooking fish, but I went to a certain orange supermarket, and the fish was extortionate. And not only was it extortionate, you only had a choice of haddock or cod as a cheaper fish. And you want a white fish to cook to make a fish curry. And if you go to certain other supermarkets, or if you can find a good fishmonger, if there's any left, then something like dab or coley is really good, because it's very cheap, it's sustainable, we're not fishing the hell out of it, and it tastes just as good as cod or haddock. Incidentally, this is the lay-by in which I had one of the encounters in my book, whereby a car came in from the end, right there, drove all the way up to that end, did a U-turn, came all the way back to that end, did a U-turn, and then settled up in front of my car. To find out what actually happened, you'll have to read the book. Anyway, back to the cookery show. Let's take the lid off. You can see what a difference that's made. Still not properly cooked yet, but it's getting there. I'm just going to give it a bit of a swizz. stick it on top of my book by Stephen Witt, which is called How Music Got Free. Very important book that everybody should read. All about the downfall of the music industry and how people started pirating CDs. And I hate to sound like a boring old moaning musician, but that's the reason I live in a car. Nobody pays for CDs anymore, and nobody really pays for music anymore. So yeah, there you go. If you want to know why I live in a car, that's part of the reason then, isn't it? So we're getting there. You can see this isn't burning, this is whatever the black stuff you normally get in the cooking process is happening. So yeah, it's looking lovely, and it's tasting. Always taste as you go. Tastes like shit at the minute, if I'm honest. But don't worry, I'll make it good. Finding out this is quite hard to do one-handed, but I'm adding a bit of brinjal pickle, secret ingredients of the week, just to kind of add a bit of sweetness to the dish. It's just a little bit acidic from the tomatoes and from the wine. You shouldn't really use cheap wine in cooking. Never use a wine that you wouldn't drink. So there we go, top tip of the week. So I learned to cook from watching shows like Ready Steady Cook, and I'm a big fan of Rick Stein, and when he does stuff, he doesn't say, you know, put in so many milliliters of soy sauce or whatever. He just says put some in. So add it to taste. I'm using it instead of salt basically, and it just lifts the dish a little bit. So we'll have a little taste in a second. Let's have a wee bit of the jus. Oh wow, now that is amazing. What a difference. The brinjal pickle just sweetens it up a little bit. I maybe added a little bit too much, but it takes the edge off everything. I'm not going to add any yogurt to that. I'm just going to add the rice, and then we'll be away. So I'm using packet rice for two reasons. Saves on cooking it, therefore saves energy, and it's only 50p per packet, and this will do me for 2 meals at the moment. So with it all mixed in, I'm going to add half a garden's worth of coriander again. There we go. Can always do with a bit of grass, can't you? Here's my other little secret weapon of choice, peppermill. Can't leave home without it. I used to have one that had like a garam masala mix in it, which is easier to say than it is to make. There we go, lid goes back on for about 2 to 3 minutes, and the rice will cook through. So here we go, here's the finished dish. It's venison meatballs with a Kashmiri masala sauce, with a mushroom rice basically, and now for taste. That man, it's hot. Oh, hot. Very hot. Oh. Ah! Ah! Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. I'm sweating already. Actually, it's very, very, very nice. It's just a bit temperature hot, not spicy hot. So there you go. That's how I cook in my car. You can cook anything you want. You just have to have a little bit of culinary know-how and a bit of imagination. And if you run out of saucy kind of stuff, you can use engine oil, which always has a very original taste to it. Thank you very much.